I'm going to call to order. Today is Tuesday, May 14th, 2019, fiscal year 20 operating budget hearings with the Budget and Finance Committee and Metro Council. Before us, we have the Sheriff's Office. We have Sheriff Darren Hall. Sheriff, I'll allow you to do the introductions and then walk us through your budget. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and happy to be here. I'd like to introduce our Director of Finance for the Sheriff's Office, Mr. Pete Lutz, and our Chief of Administration in the Sheriff's Office, Mr. John Hudson, and the hardest working people in Metro government right back there in the back, the leadership of the Sheriff's Office. If you don't mind, stand up. I'm very proud of the people who run the place, and thank you for coming up here to be a part of it. I like to tell people we're measured by failure, so if you don't know a lot about us, that's a good thing, and sometimes that's what goes on. You know, I've been here, this is my 16th time as sheriff in front of you in our budget meeting or budget hearing, I guess, so many, many years of doing this, and I've been in the sheriff's office for 30 years, and I can tell you this with confidence that the last 3 years or 2.5 years have been the most challenging as it relates to budgeting, but also in operations, because as you guys know, we tore down our operation downtown. We moved a lot of those. Every inmate in our city was moved into a bed that probably they didn't belong in for a short time. And we've been working through that, and the men and women who are working there every night deserve a huge pat on the back. They're working in difficult situations and doing a fantastic job. And so it's been difficult. We can see the end. The facilities that are across the street finishing up, we expect that to be somewhere around October. We need a few months probably to train and practice through all the mechanics of a building that is that complex. So we think somewhere around Thanksgiving we will see operations in what you call the jail, the booking room downtown begin here again. And then later, probably early in the year of 2020, we will open up what we've talked a lot about, which is our behavioral care center, the only one of its kind in the country where someone who is brought to the justice system who is suffering from mental illness will be diverted and not criminalized for having an illness. So we're very excited about that. That'll be a little later in the year because we want to get the mechanics worked out of the other building first, and so that's been a lot of our time and energy. But both budgetarily and operationally, getting ready to open something that significant is a huge challenge. As you can imagine, we will be running 2 systems for a while as we start to move inmates and populations and booking rooms and all the things that go into our complex operation. So it will be another challenging year, but we can see the end, and again, the future is pretty bright as it relates to the state-of-the-art facility. I'm very proud of this, but our staff all have a parking place. They deserve it. As you guys know, we tried to move the operations. That would not have cost our employees anything to park, and so when the city decided to move it or leave it downtown, one of the not negotiables in my world was, and why are you going to punish the staff? And so we put parking spaces in the facility for our employees. It's hard to recruit into this line of work. It's very hard when you pay more to park than you get paid. So we're going to make sure that they have a safe and secure place to park, and whoever's in this job in the years ahead will be able to recruit, I hope, quality people and have a safe place to park when they come to work. So there's a lot going on in the sheriff's office, and again, we've been through this many, many years, but no time has been more complex for us because we're running, in some ways, temporary facilities half the year, opening up new facilities budgetarily midway through, and we think the future is very bright, but it'll be another tricky year as it relates to our operations. I think budget-wise, it's pretty boring as it relates to what's in front of you as far as new stuff. I guess most people are saying that. I am concerned about where we are budgetarily because we need to know what it's going to cost to operate new facilities, and I've shared that with the mayor and the mayor's administration in a variety of ways. We still are concerned about things such as paid family leave and vacation days and not having the money to allow our employees to be off doing that. And so we're going to keep our eyes on that as we go forward. The other thing that always concerns me, I'm not a big fan of this planned savings thing that happened the last couple of years. I don't really like that as a way to manage a budget of hours. I don't think it's good for the government to do that. That's your choice, and we'll make it work, but I don't think it's a very good way to do it. But we will work through it. We'll make it work as best we can. We'll be back in front of the council next year explaining where we are based on the decisions that are made. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. Councilman Pulley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of brief questions. One, it's always nice to see new revenue sources, so I wonder if you could briefly walk us through the $345,000 increase in the state direct revenue that you will be receiving over what you had in 2019 this year.
Yeah, that should be. We get reimbursed for inmates that are once convicted, that are in the state's responsibility, and how long they stay with you and I in our beds until they transfer out is really a budget issue for them. They have to pay us to keep them here. I'll tell you that we have planned meetings with the Commissioner of Corrections and others to try to get some of those folks moved. It will decrease revenue, which is a bad thing, but it should reduce our costs as well because those inmates are in your facilities, and it looks a little misleading that it's increasing revenue. What it probably is also doing is costing you some money because we're having to pay the meals and the staff to supervise them. So I've been here a long time. I'll tell you, years ago we were sued in the city of Nashville for constitutional conditions in our jails because state inmates backed up in our jails and made them overcrowded, and we had other problems. We're a long way from that problem, but I would watch as a city the state of Tennessee. They should pick up their responsibilities soon. And oftentimes in counties like Nashville and others, they forget to watch that and get in trouble long-term with liability. But we have our ears and eyes on that. But it's a little misleading. It's real numbers, but it's not really a good thing sometimes because that means inmates are staying. I did some numbers last week or so. They're staying on average 21 days post-conviction, which is a little bit of a concern of ours because if you're convicted today, we need to be moving you in the next week or so. You're a convicted felon and belong in the state's custody. Instead, you're staying in local jails, but we're getting reimbursed, and that's the number you're seeing.
Thank you. Another question, relative to the new facility when you move in, it's understandable that you would probably maybe even not know. There are some unknowns that are associated with operating expenses of a brand new facility. If you do find yourself in a crunch, having unexpected expenses budget-wise, is it your plan to come back to us for a supplemental request to help relieve some of that pressure?
You know, that's a very good question, and it makes us nervous. I always say I'd rather be right than inexpensive. We need to be very safe because the population that's coming back downtown are, if you will, the most highest risk people to our community. And so we want to be careful and be very good at what we're doing, especially early on. And it's important to us that we get used to the building before we bring people who are interested in getting out of it. How about that? As a concern of ours. And so, yes, both operationally, staff dollars, what does it take to run the building? We have a pretty good sense for that because we run our existing facilities, but long term, and let's say this time next year, I think I'd be in a better place to tell you we're comfortable, here's what it costs to run it. It will be a more efficient building because of design. It's a better building because of design, but that doesn't always mean it's less expensive to do it because we have other, I'll give you an example. We shared that building with the police for years. The police were in the front of the building as a headquarters, and then we were in the back with the detention facility. When the police moved, they moved to Donaldson. Now they're relocated in their headquarters. They took the security with them. The security for that campus was what we call the brown suits. They went with the police. So the police took them. They're now out on Murfreesboro Road. They probably need them. But we need security, too. I don't mean for inmates, but just the campus. So that's an additional cost that may shift to us because the police took the security function.
Thank you. Well, I hope you won't hesitate to come back as you get those numbers. And one other comment, you're right about the fact that the last couple of years have been challenging, especially for you walking through this process. I just want to commend you and thank you for your leadership as you walked us through all of that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilman Pulley. Councilwoman Weiner.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sheriff, for being here, and everybody back there. Thank you for everything that you do. I have two quick questions. Well, one may not be so quick. What is the cost per inmate to us?
Love that question. Okay. So we have to calculate a formula the state of Tennessee forces us to use to create our cost, and that would show somewhere about $100 a day on average for a prisoner that the state of Tennessee, they see that number. I would tell you, keep in mind that's an average. You have some $200 to $300 a day people over there, and you have some that are $40 and $50 because they're low maintenance, and you have some very expensive. So the 100 is a delicate thing to, it's something we have to produce and show, but I don't always feel comfortable that that's a real cost to you. It's just a formula we have to use.
So the things that would be the differential would be medication,
Yes, supervision is the most expensive. So a person who's highest risk, then we have to put more than one person supervising them. That's where your costs go very high. So escape risk, and then where you're going, which is exactly right, medical and mental health are by far the next two additions that increase our costs. And so I tell people all the time, it's somewhere between $200 and $300 a day to house a severely mentally ill person. There's no doubt about that, and we can show and prove that. And it ranges from that end all the way down to, like I said, some person who is booked for DUI, who's just doing their time, who probably doesn't even need supervision, quite frankly, is just sitting in their bunk until they do 48 hours. That's a very low end. But we should all know this. It's very expensive to treat people with the conditions in which inmates have, medical and mental health, in a system like ours.
Okay, thank you for that. My second question is related to your IT system. Is that part of Metro's IT program? And if it is not, or if it is, what parts are and what parts aren't?
I can talk jail all night long, but that is way out of I'll let Chief Hudson get into wires and frames and all those things.
The systems themselves are ours. We share the network. Actually, the network is provided by ITS, Metro ITS, but all the applications that are specific to us are ours, and we're housed within our facility.
Is there ever a consideration of consolidating to cut costs?
Can I speak to that part? I can't get into the technical part. This comes up every few years. It has since I've been there for 30 years. There's some things that wouldn't concern me at all, but if you can respect the fact that you're independently elected, for example, what I would say is cost isn't really. We just met with Keith Durbin, by the way, and the cost for us to do our own is not significant at all to separate it. But it is important whoever's in this job has the ability. For example, we get public records requests from the media and the public all the time about inmates and staff and mail. You wouldn't want that to be dependent on some third party if you're in my job where the families and lawyers are screaming at you every day. So I would always ask that you leave some independence. We're independently elected from Metro, and I would just be careful. That's just my administrator hat. The technical part and the cost are insignificant, my understanding.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That helps. Thank you, Chair. That's all.
Thank you, Sheriff. Councilman Hager.
Thank you, Sheriff Hall, for all y'all being here today. One question I had, and of course, that's kind of a thing I look into, is the mental health that you're going to have over there, because I've got an adult son that's mentally handicapped. Are they going to be held there until they go over to the mental health court, or how's that going to work?
That's a great question. So our goal is to not criminalize the illness. So therefore, when the police arrest a person today, in the future, that individual would arrive at the institution, be diagnosed by a mental health professional. Today, it's the mental health co-op. We assume that's who would still be doing that. That assessment and evaluation diagnosis is done by mental health. As long as they're not wanted on felonies anywhere else in the country or in Nashville, so they're a misdemeanor and mentally ill, that individual tomorrow morning will meet not a review and a judge, but meet with the district attorney's office, public defender's office, and mental health. And if all three of those parties agree, then that person would never be formally charged going forward with a crime and go to court and then be tied up with judges and people who, quite frankly, have their hands full with what they're doing. We're trying to decriminalize it before we get into courtrooms. That's our goal.
That sounds good. And how many can you hold in there at one time?
Yeah, so we did a lot of work on the data of misdemeanors who are mentally ill. It's a 60-bed unit. One thing that we've learned over the last 4 or 5 years I think is fascinating. Our population's 80% male, 20% female in jail, but the mentally ill people are 50% male, 50% female. There's a lot of theories about that, and we can talk about it, but our facility is designed with gender-responsive treatment. 50% of each bed hopefully can be dedicated, or 50% of the facility can be dedicated to males and females.
Now, I assume they still send some out to Middle Tennessee Mental Health on the was it 301 or 306 papers?
And you know this system very well, and it's a very difficult. The percentage of people that get out there are very low to the ones that we're asking to go. To get all that approved, and the bed space is very complex. And quite frankly, we hope that this facility, although may not can handle the highest level of psychosis, I mean, would be able to handle those that we believe are further traumatized by not being able to get out there. We can stabilize them, put them in the hands of mental health, get them out of the jail, get them out of being an inmate and going to court and handcuffed and all the stuff that really exacerbates our problem. So we believe we can kind of lower the tension of that, and maybe one day, this will be down the road, the beds that are available out there, the actual people who need to get there will. But today it's very difficult to do.
Right. All right. Thank you, Sheriff Hall.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hager. Councilwoman Nancy Van Rees.
Hi there. Hi, neighbor. Thank you for being up in District 8, and on behalf of Sidekicks Cafe, I say hello.
There we go.
I know that we've enjoyed having you guys there, and if you could help me explain how long you'll be there, best case scenario for us, worst case scenario for you, and if there's any plans at all for you to leave some folks with us.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. What's often lost in talk about the sheriff's office is the jail gets all the attention, and that was the controversy a few years ago. The headquarters, or the building where all of our staff, myself and some 275 employees, is also under construction right over here across the river where the old workhouse used to be. And so that construction of that project is underway now. It's about 18 months to 2 years to finishing up. When that finishes, we have a collection of staff all over Nashville that will come under one roof and obviously be a much better operation. In the interim, we've been in Councilmember Van Rees's district, and at the Old Memorial Hospital, which, by the way, if you've ever been in there, it's a unique building for a lot of reasons. But our staff love it, by the way. They do, and it's an awkward situation because you have this massive building, and we're taking up a couple of floors. We have our training division, our warrants division, all sorts of folks, and they love it out there. But they will plan to come back. I would expect that to be late 2020, maybe 21 before we would see that. And the likelihood is that we'd probably need some space somewhere. Just don't know if that's the best suited place for Metro. But yeah, I thought we were building them the Taj Mahal for them. They were going to be excited, and some of them don't want to leave. They're happy with where they are. So we'll see. Yeah.
Anything else, Councilwoman?
No, I'm
Okay. Councilwoman Allen.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all being here and all the hard work y'all are doing. I know that the pay plan is remarkably complex because of how you deal with overtime and make sure people are where they need to be when they need to be. And the paid family leave is adding another level of complexity to that. Can you explain a little bit about that, and perhaps if that has the potential to come back as a further budget need, or if there's a way that we can make it work better for y'all if we found extra money?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's something that I'm kind of nerdy about, to be honest. I've always liked to understand staffing and cost. It's 80+% of our budget, and we as a sheriff's office are as aggressive as anybody you'll ever meet in managing personnel time and cost and so forth. And so when an issue like paid family leave is brought forward, it's sacrilegious to be against that. I mean, we all want it. It's great for everybody. But what people don't understand is in a jail, you have to have an officer working at certain positions. And so if that person now has more leave time because we've awarded them paid family leave or Veterans Day, or any such program. Those are great ideas. But if you don't fund what it takes to cover that position when that person's on more leave, then what you're really doing is increasing our costs significantly, because now this officer's off tonight. I'm having to pay him time and a half to cover what really is a straight time position, and that money escalates significantly. And so what I'm worried about, and have been for a while, is when we come up with those programs, they were never funded. So we did it, we passed it, but we didn't move the money to cover the cost of that time. That 1 year, and this past year, was $345,000. It was for what we would call overtime based on paid family leave. So we're going to get our staff off. They deserve paid family leave, but we want to make sure that we have the positions to cover it. We call that relief factor. And the relief factor in the sheriff's office is something we've studied for years, and it's never been adjusted. It needs to be adjusted. I kind of regret something I did a couple of years ago. We studied that leading up to this building over here opening. We thought, the truth is it confused some people. I think even the mayor's office probably thinks that we needed more positions for the new building. It's really about relieving people who work for us, regardless of where you work. So I suspect this time next year, after the settlement of getting everybody in their building, it might be a better time to come forward and say, here's exactly what you need. But you're going to have to address that in this body eventually with whoever's in this job, because you can't keep doing it this way.
And y'all would be the ones to develop what that, it seems to me that creating that position could actually lower costs if we did it right. Is that correct, or am I missing something there?
Here's where you're going, and I'm pretty sure. The issue is to pay someone time and a half of a position that really is a straight-time job. It's costing the city more money than it should. I have a lot of friends in the police department and fire department, but they're not very good at managing overtime. Okay, they're friends of mine, but they're good at things. That's not one of them. They pay overtime. They don't manage it. We manage overtime. And so there's a difference. And so what I would say is the city has to make a decision about how they want to handle paying people that. When you pay people overtime, and I'm going to get a lot of friends mad at me, you're paying them overtime, and then you're paying their pension at a higher rate because they make more money on overtime. Well, that's costing our city a lot of money. And so my position is pay the people, police officers, fire, sheriff's people, more on the front end of straight time, and quit paying all the time and a half that's costing the city a lot of money.
Gotcha. Sounds like a good plan. So we're counting on you to give us those numbers.
I will do that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. And Sheriff and Councilwoman Allen, as many of you are aware in the chamber, we've heard that from other departments as well. So it's not new news to us, Sheriff, and I just want to publicly state that for the viewing audience too. Sheriff, as always, thank you so much to your team and everything that you do for the city. Thank you for submitting your questionnaire timely. And this concludes your budget hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.